I'd like to welcome you back to Love Notes, your Friday night ritual inside the Passion Zone. I'm Allie Theiss, and tonight we're telling a story many people don't realize they've been living for years. Love as a performance. Not intentional, I don't see any manipulation, just learned, really. So many of us learned early that love had conditions. You needed to be agreeable, maybe be impressive, be easy, be strong, be low maintenance, you know? Tonight's episode is called Love Without Performance because love was never meant to feel like an audition, right? Performance doesn't always look dramatic. It really doesn't. Sometimes it looks like smiling when you're exhausted. Lord knows I've done that a time or two. Explaining instead of asking. Staying calm so someone else doesn't leave. But love that requires performance eventually is exhaustion. Yes, indeed, you do. If you're performing in love, if you are being somebody else in your relationship, if you're not being true to who you are, it does get very exhaustive. And before you know it, you had enough. Everybody has a breaking point. Some people it takes a year or two, other people it can take 20, 30 years. But eventually, there is a breaking point. Now, the poem for tonight is Pillow Thoughts by Courtney Pepperdell. You were never hard to love. You were just taught that love must be earned. So you learned to be quiet when you were hurting and grateful for the bare minimum. But love, the real kind, does not ask you to disappear to be kept. Makes you think, doesn't it? I know it did me when I was reading over this poem to try to decide what I was going to talk about tonight. This poem, it can name really the unspoken contracts so many people carry into relationships. If I behave correctly, ooh, then somebody will choose me. But love without performance doesn't reward silence. It doesn't confuse endurance with devotion. Real love doesn't require a version of you. It wants all of you. And that's what we're looking for, guys. Going into our first dedication of the evening. Yes, indeedy do. This is from Alyssa. And I didn't write anything, but um, Alyssa's in Pennsylvania and she wants me to play Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. So whomever she's thinking about for this dedication, let it go out to them and let they think of her, if not only for a split second, maybe more. Okay, Fleetwood Mac, gotta love them. Gotta love some Fleetwood Mac. That is Landslide, obviously by Fleetwood Mac. And yeah, I am a Fleetwood Mac fan from way back. And you know what? There is intimacy in letting someone witness your becoming, right? Your uncertainty, your growth. When we deal with performance in love, that kind of performance can freeze you. Authenticity lets you move. Drop me an emoji in the chat if you're joining me live here on TikTok. If closeness arrived when you stopped trying. Doesn't that seem like when everything happens? You stop trying, you stop striving for what it is, you stop obsessing about whatever it may be, and it seems to finally show up. That's because you've let the energy go. You're not holding it so close to you. It is out and about and able to do the job you want it to do. So try not to obsess over anything. It doesn't do you any good and it doesn't allow what you want to come into you. All right. So let's move forward, shall we, to the romance book of the week. And this book is called Normal People by Sally Rooney. This was published back in 2018. This book, well, it can be very uncomfortable. Why? Well, because it's honest. It explores what happens when two people feel deeply but don't yet know how to communicate without fear, silence, or emotional withdrawal. This book, Normal People, isn't about grand gestures. No, it's about the cost of not saying what's real. It reminds us that love without performance requires emotional literacy, not perfection. If you're joining me live here on TikTok, drop me an emoji in the chat if honesty feels harder than chemistry. And a lot of times it does. Nobody likes to be honest and tell people their true feelings. Always worried about judging, right? And being with somebody in a romantic relationship that is going to last a distance, you don't judge one another. You just don't. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do them any good, and most certainly does not do the relationship any good at all. None, none. Thank you very much. It just doesn't. And since we've got this humongous snowstorm barreling down at us this weekend, this might be a good time for you to pick up a book or two. Huh? What do you think? Pick up a book or two, grab a couple new romances, and just allow yourself to snuggle in with a warm blanket, maybe a hot cup of tea or coffee, and a good book. That's what kind of weekend it's going to be for most of the United States. Um, I don't know about where you live, but here in Ohio, we were told, please do not drive anywhere. Don't try to go anywhere. Stay home. And that, my friends, I intend to do. Me and the kitty cats and the one dog, we're all going to stay home and snuggle. That brings us to what? Dedication number two. And yes, the Kindle is always good. In fact, I just went and plugged mine in before I logged on to the show to make sure it is nice and charged for this weekend. Um, I probably have about 700 to 800 books on my Kindle. I kid you not. I collect books and sometimes I read them. There are so many books on there that I haven't read. The very first book I ever bought for my Kindle, um, it was How to Write Sex Scenes. That's my very first Kindle book, was How to Write Good Sex Scenes. Yeah, because it's something I do. I write. I love to write. I love to create stories. Um, but I just now thought of that. It's kind of funny. All the books I have, and that was the very first one. Um, let's go forward with the dedication. And if you haven't made a dedication yet, please do for next week. I'd be more than happy to play it for you. When you dedicate a song to somebody. Now, if you notice, the previous dedication number one, didn't come with a message. It just came with the person's name who was requesting the song. No other identifying remarks other than that and the song itself. And that's fine. You can do it that way. Or you can send me a dedication and no song, and I'll pick a song for you. But what happens when you dedicate a song to somebody else, whether or not you actually tell me their name, you jump into their thoughts for just a minute. Oh, yes, you jump in there for a couple seconds. It's up to them if they keep thinking about you or not, but you're in there. You've got an in. All right. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody that you knew from high school and maybe an elementary crush you never got over. It could be somebody you married and divorced, to somebody who has passed over, somebody whom you've never found out their name. You passed them maybe on the subway or you saw them on a plane someplace. Drop them a dedication. It's real easy to do. If you listen to the podcast version, the link is below in the show's notes. If you're listening to me live here on TikTok, just go to my profile, click on the link. It'll take you to my link page. Second one down is the link for the dedication page. All right. And if you're on my site, The Passion Zone, just head to Love Notes. You're in the right spot there for all of that. Now, This dedication here, it comes from Jordan in Michigan. And they write, "You didn't fall in love with me with the version I thought I was and I performed. You loved me for exactly who I am." Ooh, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? And the song we're playing for this one is These Are the Days by 10,000 Maniacs, Gen X. Some pretty good stuff there by 10,000 Maniacs. Yes, indeed, you do. You know, when you're used to earning love from somebody, being resting can feel, well, unsafe, right? And this song by the 10,000 Maniacs captures presence without urgency, doesn't it? It captures love without escape and connection without proving. Yes, it does. So if you're joining me live here on TikTok, drop me an emoji in the chat if being enough felt strange at first. I bet it does. All right. Sitting here next to me, I have Xena, my kitty cat. If you can see her, she's right there. And now her mama is coming back. This would be Sweet Pea. Because it's so cold. Oh, Sweet Pea, you're not coming up? Oh, Sweet Pea and Mama Mia. What you doing, girl? Huh? You coming up? They've been sitting up here all day underneath the lamp on top of a little towel because their little paws are cold because it's cold outside. My cats hate to be cold. It's not something they signed up for. They want me to get more heating pads and put them around the house so they can be toasty. Well, let's move forward to the desire drop. How's that sound? Attraction without effort. Oh yes, that's tonight's desire drop. There's Sweet Pea and Mamma Mia. All right, girl. Glad you're back up here with your daughter. This is all about noticing when desire softens. Where desire softens when performance drops. You guys are okay, just lay down. Everything's good. Never you fear. So, ask yourself, where am I trying to be sustainable instead of honest? Where am I managing restrictions or reactions instead of expressing needs? Where does desire grow when I stop performing? You got any answers to any of those? You know, when people are quiet instead of being honest, that can damage a relationship. When you're managing reactions instead of expressing how you feel and your needs, that's no good either. Relationship can't survive that. And when you start performing, that's when desire grows in a relationship. You have to be who you are. You have to let people see you for who you are. And they will want you to hang around because you're pretty awesome. Ask yourself. I hope you agree with yourself because you should. Um, Desire, it can respond to coherence. When your inner experience matches your outer expression, attraction stabilizes. You don't need to be impressive to be desired. You need to be present. Effort creates tension. Presence creates pull. Bet you weren't thinking about that earlier, were you? I'm going to say no. You possibly were not. Because now, I know it's hard to believe, but we are at our third dedication of the evening. And I just read what you wrote, Alex. Teddy has had the zoomies. Yes, his zoomies is trying to get his body nice and warm. Um, I know my cats. My none of my cats have had the zoomies. They've had the "I'm pissed off and want to kill you" modes with each other, not with me. Um, they're either doing that or they are all huddled in one big ball, staying warm, either on top the covers on my bed or under the covers on my bed. So I have to be careful when I do go to bed that I don't land on anybody trying to slide into my bed. Oh Lord, living with cats, something else sometimes. Now this third dedication, this comes from Naomi in California. And she writes, I didn't realize how tired I was until I could really be myself. What? That's a great dedication. She's dedicating it to herself. I love it. And she really asked for me to play Harvest Moon by good old Neil Young. Oh, yes, this takes me back. I was kind of surprised there that we had no lyrics to that song. So I went, I grabbed this figure that my grandfather carved for me when I was little. So this was 54 years ago that he carved this for me. We just did a little dance because there was no singing. It really was. I was expecting lyrics someplace, but there wasn't any. Um, Maybe Naomi decided to pick that song because, well, she wasn't performing anymore. But that sounded like a performing song, didn't it? Do it was catchy. Do 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 do. Yeah, it was catchy. Well, hello. Yeah, sometimes you shouldn't let me around any type of toys, even if that is wooden and carved over 54 years ago. So, that all said, interesting instrumental there. It was very catchy. Which brings us to Soulful Connections. Oh, yeah. And love without performance, because that is the theme of tonight. Performance creates energetic static when you're acting instead of aligning. Part of you is monitoring what's going on, part of you is adjusting what's going on, while yet another part withholds, right? Love without performance is coherence. When you are who you are and how you love finally match, your energy settles and connection deepens. And this is when love is sustainable. And this brings us up, guys, to our guided visualization of the evening, removing the role, embracing your true essence. It takes about 10 minutes, give or take, for this one, but it's a good one to be part of. So let's get comfortable. All right. Welcome, welcome. Just an FYI, this is your time. And this is a sacred pause in the rhythm of your day. Because we all have days where they never seem like they end. This is a good time to come home to yourself, to let go of the roles you've carried, and to remember who you are beneath it all. So let's begin. Find a quiet, comfortable place to sit or lie down. Somewhere where you can be undisturbed for just a few minutes. Take a moment to settle in, adjust your body so that you feel fully supported, and when you're ready, gently close your eyes. Now, take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, counting to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for a moment and exhale through your mouth, long and slow. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do that just one more time. Okay? Deep breath in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for a moment and exhale through your mouth. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you breathe, allow your body to soften. Feel the tension melting away from your head, your shoulders, your chest, your hips, all the way down to your toes. Each breath taking you deeper into stillness, into presence, into peace. Now, in your mind's eye, picture yourself standing in a quiet garden at twilight. The air is warm, soft, scented with jasmine and earth. The grass beneath your feet is cool and velvety. And somewhere nearby, you hear a gentle stream trickling. The sky above is painted in shades of purple and gold, the last light of the sun kissing the tops of the trees. This garden is yours, a sacred space. Here, nothing is required of you. Just be. As you walk slowly through the garden, you notice a soft light approaching, a gentle orb floating toward you, radiant and calm. This light carries the energy of your highest self, wise, loving, grounded. It comes to rest before you, and within it, you see something familiar, a mask, delicately formed, perhaps beautiful, but you recognize it. This is a role you've been played in love. Maybe the pleaser, the fixer, the one who earned love by doing. You hold the mask in your hands now. Feel its shape, its weight, and take a breath. You no longer need it. With gratitude, you gently place the mask on the earth before you. A golden light begins to surround it, and slowly, softly, it dissolves. No pleasing, no proving, no managing, just you. Notice the space that opens up. Feel the lightness in your chest, the openness in your being. You are still here, fully whole, even more you. Breathe into this truth. You don't have to perform to be loved. You don't have to shrink to be accepted. You are worthy just as you are. say silently or aloud. I release the roles that no longer serve me. I return to my essence. I am enough. I am love. I am free. Let that truth settle into every cell of your body. Let it root into your heart. Now, begin to return to the present moment. Feel your breath. Feel the ground beneath you. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Bring awareness back into your body. Take one more deep breath in, and as you exhale, gently open your eyes. Come back, carrying with you this lightness, this truth. You are free to be exactly who you are. No roles, no masks, just you. And that is more than enough. All right, what did you guys think of that one? I try to come up with something new, each time we do an episode here. I hope you're liking these little visualizations we do, 10, 15 minutes a show. Um, just enough to maybe sink in and think of something, see something, um, but not long enough that you guys are going to fall asleep. Because I don't want that to happen. All right. We could do an hour meditation. We could make the whole hour meditation. Wouldn't that be fun? I'll have to think about that one. But the romantic movie spotlight this week is Before Midnight. Ooh. This film strips romance down to the conversation, the irritation, the tenderness, and truth. It shows what happens when love moves beyond fantasy into reality. It's not polished, it's honest. Yes, it is. And this brings us to our fourth and final dedication. And remember, if you'd like to make a dedication, please do. I'd love to send it out there for you. If you're listening to the podcast version, look below in the show's notes for the link to the dedication form. If you're listening to me live here on TikTok, go to my profile, click on the link, second link down, and it'll take you to it. It's kind of amazing. And if you're on my website, The Passion Zone, it's right there. It says Love Notes. Nice and big. You can't miss it. Please click on that, and that you'll go to the dedication page. I would love to do this for you. It would be an honor for me to do this for you. And for this last dedication, this is from Maya, and she's out in New Mexico. And she says, You know, you didn't ask me to be easy. What you did is ask me to be real. Ooh, I'm liking that. And the song she requested for today is The Book of Love by the Magnetic Fields. I really like the guy's voice. The Book of Love, the Magnetic Fields. Never heard of the Magnetic Fields. Never have I heard of that band. But his voice kind of reminded me of Chris Isaac. Yeah, Chris Isaac is who that voice reminded me of. I loved it. And you know what? Being real, it's a brave thing to do. It really is. Being loved for it is rare. This love is without applause, love without roles, love without performance. It was very 70s. It was a cool jam. I really like his voice. So I'm going to look up the magnetic fields when we're done here in a second because I want to know who that lead singer was. But here we are at the end already. Tonight's story was all about what happens when love stops being a stage and becomes a place you can rest. You don't need to audition. You don't need to earn your place. You certainly don't need to be easy. Love without performance, it isn't boring, it's sustainable. I'd like to thank you for spending this time with me. If you'd like your dedication featured in a future episode, don't forget, submit it through the Passion Zone. Join me next week for Love Notes, where love, well, it gets simpler, deeper, and more real.